Hello everyone. So today we'll be starting new topic which is eigenvalue problem. So this comes under the category of ordinary differential equation and this is a special case of boundary value problem. So if you recall our syllabus, then we studied Runge-Kutta method to solve ordinary differential equation, right? So we started with Euler's method, then we studied Runge-Kutta method of second, third and fourth order. Then we also covered this particular topic, that is boundary value problem, and here we studied shooting method. So this method we covered after our mid-sem exam. Then this eigenvalue problem is yet to cover, so we will start this topic. Then application of ordinary differential equation to mechanical engineering problems. So some of the important application is covered in our assignment problem. Then we studied this Taylor series as well as predictor and corrector method. So this is also covered in Runge-Kutta method. And during this lockdown period we started finite difference method. So we started this finite difference method to derive expression of f single prime x and f double prime x, right? So, and then we classified second order linear differential equation to elliptic, parabolic and hyperbolic equation. Then we also studied three different boundary conditions, that is Dirichlet, Newman and mixed boundary condition. And then we also covered Gauss-Seidel method to solve elliptic equation. Then we also studied explicit and implicit method to solve parabolic equation. And we also covered some of the important application of this finite difference method to mechanical engineering problem. Okay, so let's start today's topic, that is eigenvalue. So eigenvalue comes from this Latin word eigenword, where eigen means characteristics and words mean value. In order to have a physical meaning of this eigenvalue, let us consider a problem of spring and mass system. So this kind of spring mass system you will come across in your subject vibration engineering in third year. So this is our spring mass system where we have two different masses. The first one is mass m1 and the second one is mass m2. These two masses are connected with two springs which is having same amount of stiffness coefficient K. Now let's apply a horizontal direction pull force in the right direction, and then we will leave this mass. Then the spring and mass system will oscillate in horizontal direction. The displacement of mass m2 is denoted using x2 and the displacement of mass m1 is denoted using x1. So at different instant of time you will have different values of x2 and x1, and also its direction is also changing from the positive x direction to the minus x direction. Now let us consider one time for which the displacement of mass m2, that is x2, is greater than the displacement of mass m1, that is x1. Okay, so now we will do force balance analysis for mass m1 as well as m2. So let's start with mass m1. So this mass m1 is subjected to two different forces in two different directions. The force on the left hand side is because of this spring, whereas the force on the right hand side is due to force acted by this particular spring, right? Since the mass m1 is displaced with distance x1, so the force exerted by this particular spring will be k into x1. And now when we talk about this particular spring, then the amount of displacement of this spring is x2 minus x1, right? So the force exerted by this spring is k into x2 minus x1. Now we will apply Newton's second law of motion, that is F net is equal to ma, and we will consider this particular direction as a positive and the opposite direction as a negative. So we will have minus k into x1, that is this particular force, plus k into x2 minus x1, which is this particular force, which is equal to m into a. Now mass is m1, so we'll have m1 here, and a can be replaced as a d square x1 by dt square. Now we'll do some simple rearrangement, that is we will try to bring this particular term to the right hand side. So you will have m1 into d square x1 by dt square, which is this particular term, plus k into x1, which is this term, minus k into x2 minus x1 is equal to 0, which is this particular term. Now we will try to club x1 and x2 together. For example, in this case we have k into x1 here and x1 is also here. So we'll try to club x1 and x2 together. So you will have m1 into d square x1 by dt square, which is this term, plus k into 2x1, because 1 kx1 is here and kx1 is here, so you'll have k into 2x1 and minus x2, which is equal to 0. So this is the simple rearrangement of equation 1 for mass 1. Now let's do force balance analysis for mass m2. So for mass m2 we have only one force, that is the force exerted by this spring, which is in the negative x direction, and we know that the displacement of this spring is x2 minus x1. So the force exerted by this spring is k into x2 minus x1, which is in negative x direction. Now let's apply F net is equal to ma. So you will get the force which is in the left hand direction, which is equal to minus k into x2 minus x1, which is equal to m2 into d square x2 by dt square. Now we'll bring this term to the right hand side. So you will have m2 into d square x2 by dt square plus k into x2 minus x1 is equal to 0. So this is the force balance analysis for mass m2. So now let's assume some finite values of mass m1 as well as mass m2 and spring coefficient k. So let's suppose mass m1 is 10, mass m2 is 20 and spring coefficient k is 15. So now we will put this value in our main governing equation. So this is the governing equation for mass m1, and now we'll substitute m1 is equal to 10, which is this mass, and k as a 15. So after putting these values you will get this equation, right? So now we have put m1 is equal to 10 and k is equal to 15. Likewise we will substitute this value for mass m2. So this is the equation for mass m2. Now we will put m2 is equal to 20 and k is equal to 15. Now the analytical solution of this equation can be written as xi is equal to ai sin omega t minus phi, where ai is amplitude of mass I, omega is frequency of vibration, and phi is phase shift, where I is 1 for mass m1 and 2 is for mass m2. So now putting I is equal to 1, you will get x1 is equal to a1 sin omega t minus phi, and I equal to 2, you will get x2 is equal to a2 sin omega t minus phi. So this is the governing equation for mass m1, which is written as 10 into d square x1 by dt square plus 15 into 2x1 minus x2 is equal to 0, where x1 is written as a1 sin omega t minus phi. But we are also interested to calculate d square x1 by dt square. So double derivative of x1 with time will give us d square x1 by dt square is equal to minus omega square a1 sin omega t minus phi. This x2 is written as x2 is equal to a2 sin omega t minus phi, and double derivative of x2 with time will give us d square x2 by dt square is equal to minus omega square a2 sin omega t minus phi. Now let's substitute the value of x1, x2 and d square x1 by dt square in our main governing equation. So after substituting this value, you will have minus 10 into omega square a1 sin omega t minus phi, which is d square x1 by dt square, plus 15 into 2 times a1 sin omega t minus phi, which is x1, minus a2 sin omega t minus phi, which is x2. Now we will perform one minor modification, that instead of plus we will put minus. So here you will also get minus and you will get plus here. So after performing this modification, you will get this equation where here you will have a change in your sign, right? So similarly we will put the value of x1, x2 and d square x2 by dt square in our equation for mass m2. So this is the final governing equation for mass m2. Now we will replace this d square x2 by dt square with this term, which is minus omega square a2 sin omega t minus 5, then plus 15 into x2, where x2 is a2 sin omega t minus 5, minus x1, where x1 is a1 sin omega t minus 5. Here also we will perform the same modification, that instead of plus we will have minus. So here also you will get minus and here you will get plus. So after performing this modification, you will get this equation. So let us rewrite the equation for mass m1 and m2. So this is the equation for mass m1 and this is the equation for mass m2. Now here you can observe that this sin omega t minus 5 is common in the equation. So you can cancel out sin omega t minus 5, sin omega t minus 5, sin omega t minus 5. Likewise you can also cancel out sin omega t minus 5 from equation 2 also. So after cancelling out this equation, you will left with minus 10 a1 omega square, which is this term, minus 15 times in bracket you will have minus 2a1 plus a2, which is equal to 0. Now we'll try to club a1 and a1 together. So you will have minus 10 omega square plus 30 into a1 minus 15 into a2 is equal to 0. Now we have a coefficient of 10 with omega square. Now in order to get rid of this coefficient 10, we will divide this equation with 10. So after dividing this equation with 10, you will get minus omega square plus 3 into a1 minus 1.5 a2 is equal to 0. Similarly, after cancelling out this sin omega t minus 5 from equation 2, you will get minus 20 a2 omega square, which is this term, minus 15 times minus a2, which is this term, plus a1, which is this term. This is equal to 0. Now here also we will try to club a2 and a2 together. So you will get minus 15 times a1 plus minus 20 omega square plus 15 a2 is equal to 0. Here also we have a minus 20 as a coefficient of omega square. Now in order to get rid of this minus 20, we will divide this equation with minus 20. So after dividing this equation with 20, we will divide this equation with 20. So you will get minus 0.75 a1 plus minus omega square plus 0.75 a2 is equal to 0. Now this two equation can be written in a compact form using matrix. So this is the another way of writing these two equations. So if you expand this equation, you will get equation 1 as well as equation 2. So this matrix can be also written in this form. If you expand this equation, then you will get 3 into a1 minus 1.5 a2 minus omega square a1 is equal to 0. And when you try to club this a1, you will get this particular form. Likewise, this equation can be expanded as minus 0.75 a1 plus 0.75 a2 minus omega square a2 is equal to 0. And when you try to club this coefficient of a2, you will get this particular form. So let's give some name to this matrix. So this matrix is called matrix A. This matrix is called matrix X, and this omega square is termed as lambda, and this matrix is already named as a matrix X, and on the right hand side we have a 0. So you can write this as a matrix A times X is equal to lambda into X, where X is called, this matrix X is called eigenvector and lambda is called eigenvalue. So what is the physical significance of this equation? That if you are able to calculate this eigenvalue, it is lambda, which is equal to omega square. So if you know the value of eigenvalue, then you will be able to calculate omega square, which is a frequency with which our system is vibrating. So now let's try to calculate eigenvalue of this particular matrix, that is matrix A. So this is the matrix A, and we are interested to calculate lambda, that is eigenvalue of this matrix. So in order to calculate eigenvalue of this matrix, we will use this equation, that is determinant of matrix A minus lambda times I is equal to 0, where I is a 2 by 2 unit matrix. So we'll put the value of A matrix, which is equal to 3 minus 1.5 minus 0.75 and 0.75 minus lambda times unit matrix, that is 1001 is equal to 0. So these two matrix can be clubbed together as a 3 minus lambda minus 1.5 minus 0.75 minus 0.75 minus lambda is equal to 0. So if you open this equation, you will get 3 minus lambda times minus 0.75 minus lambda minus 1.5 times minus 0.75, which is equal to 0. And if you open this bracket, you will get lambda square minus 3.75 lambda plus 1.125 is equal to 0. So let's rewrite this equation here also. Now this is second order linear equation, and you know that the root of this equation can be expressed as a lambda is equal to minus b plus or minus under root b square minus 4ac divided by 2a, where a is the coefficient of lambda square, which is equal to a1, then b is equal to minus 3.75 and c is equal to 1.125. Now we will substitute this value in our equation. So you will get lambda is equal to 3.421 and 0.3288. So we know that lambda is nothing but omega square. So omega, which is a frequency with which the system is vibrating, is calculated as under root of lambda. So root of this 2 lambda will give us the value of omega, that is frequency with which our system is vibrating.